Once upon a time, Coolspot sent me a collection of screenshots from various games he had caught in Triple Triad history, and we have the chance to sort of try to piece them together. And the first game we successfully reenacted was Vid versus Nightwish, the final decisive game of SE Nanaki, which Vid won. And the reason we were able to recreate it, we had the final position of the game, and I had tried a bunch of times to replay games that would get the cards to be the right colors and also be like reasonable moves. And I couldn't figure it out. In fact, we even had to try to figure out which cards were in which hand because the rule set was level 10, a couple other stipulations, but each hand must use Nanaki. And so I assumed, one of the Nanakis came from each hand, of course. And then each hand basically had four corners around it, and it was trying to figure out which corners were likely to fit together. And I think I did end up correctly guessing what the two hands were, though not necessarily. And because there was a card sitting in one of their hands, which hand was which player's. I think I got that far, but I was not able to reconstruct the game. And I sent it to Vid, and one day he messaged me, "Oh, it came to me. Does this make sense?" And I checked it, and that was the game, and a really well played game at that. Now, we have one screenshot from this game, just the one. So we're not going to be able to put the whole game together and know that this is what happened. Because my memory is not as good as Vid's. That said, I think we can get this right. I think we can show the game that I think was probably played. And, what do we know? We know what the hands were, because obviously the 5 cards in each hand are visible. No card was flipped by the first 2 moves, so we know which order. We know that I am to move. I was Treppy Groupie number 1. We also know that this was in SE Cid round 3, because Coolspot listed it by when the games were from, which is great. So we also know I ended up winning this matchup. We don't know whether I won it this game, right? But given the position, I think actually there's a very good chance that I did win it this game, because there is an extremely logical move that it is very, very difficult to save for the second turn player. So, and I think it is the kind of move that I would have played, both because I don't think it's a particularly hard move to find, but also because it is how I tended to play these positions at the time. If you have watched my recent videos with cards in 5 and 6, I really like to play in 3 or 9. Back in 2009, when this happened, I would usually play a J in 1 or 7, and the move I think is what happened is a J. So this move just makes a lot of sense. It's just I'm really having trouble imagining me not playing this move here, especially my 2009 incarnation, where I tended to really favor J's in general. So I'm going to now flip over to the solver, and we're going to look through the game there, but I wanted to show this screenshot to start. I haven't been doing extensive analysis on my own, so I'm going to be kind of following what the solver tells me, but I think we can figure this game out together, and I think we can reenact a tournament game from 2009. So let's pop over to the solver. And we know I started with 3, 1, 4, 5, and 6. Clearly, I did not have my current antipathy towards side starters. You'll also notice our hands are very similar. I think it was a rule set where you basically were forced into massing these 6/4s, but for some reason couldn't use more than a certain number of them. I don't remember. I do remember building the hand for this and being like, yeah, these 6/4s are the best corners available, so I'm going to use as many of those as I can. We'll also notice I did a starter type that is very unusual to me these days. The rules, incidentally, are same plus wall combo, as you could have seen at the bottom of the screenshot. But I didn't sell myself out, right? I wasn't doing a defensive side starter. This was an aggressive side starter. My point is, he cannot play safely in 3 or 9. And yeah, that's about it, right? But that seems a good enough point. Now, you could imagine a sequence where he plays in 9, for instance, and this move might be okay, I don't know. and I play an 8, and he can then play here, and I don't have captures, right? Is this position dangerous for me? Probably not too dangerous. Say I go here, solver, tell me what's happening. Say they take. What's the best way to take? Certainly not this. This doesn't take, so presumably this. And I guess this is probably the cleanest tie. And the only tie. Alright, cool. So, I mean, there are definitely moves he could have played that, like, sack one corner to grab the other, because I don't have ways to capture twice around it. But we also know he went in 5 because we had that from the screenshot. And this brings us to our starting position, where I just think it is incredibly likely I played 6, 4, 3, 2, and 7. Because, 1, he has no captures from 4, and 2, he doesn't really have captures from 8, right? If he plays this, then I can combo either this way or this way, and that's his only capture. So we've left him in a position where 6, 4, 3, 2 is virtually safe. Because I have 2, 6, 2, 2, he still doesn't have safety in either 3 or 9. So my guess is he played in 4. This seems a pretty logical move to me, grabbing what safety he can. But it does give up his capture in 9. And so my guess, but also because I think there's a very good chance I won this game, that this was the decisive game, my guess is I played in 3. And this, in fact, wins because I have 2, 6, 2, 2 for the top and 1, 4, 6, 3 for the bottom. And 1, 4, 6, 3 covers the bottom because his only capture in 8 is 4, 2, 4, 5. He has no captures in 9. So the only way he can capture walks into a combo with 1, 4, 6, 3. Anything else, he can't capture. He could be safe, but he can't capture. He can never get a plus down there. Note this is true even if 5 is flipped, right? The only way he can flip back 5 in the bottom 2 squares is with 4, 2, 4, 5, and 8, which again is covered as long as 1, 4, 6, 3 is in my hand. And for the top, 2, 6, 2, 2 is guaranteed to put up a plus. If he plays 2, 6, 2, 2, and 2, capturing 4, 3, 2, 6, he gives me a plus in 1. If he plays anything else in 2, he doesn't capture and I just take. And if he plays in 1, I flip 5, and flipping 5 is enough to win this game because he cannot recapture an 8. And so my guess is this is the position we got. I think this is a logical way for the game to have went, and I think it's a narrow enough path to a win. 3 was the only win here, that I think there's a very good chance this is what was played. And I am hopeful I have successfully recreated the game. We will never know for sure, but this is what I think happened. I'm really not sure where else, he would have gone here, right? There's possibilities like you go here, but this looks just really obviously bad. I guess this holds because of this. Yeah, so maybe that's not so bad. What happens here? Because I don't have a recapture in 9, so if I can't take immediately, this could be really dangerous for me. Maybe I can play just 1, 4, 6, 3 here. No, they can, if nothing else, I suspect this is fine for them. Yeah. Alright, what happens here? I do have a plus wall in 4. So the solver says I have a winning move here. I'm not sure what it would be. I feel like I do want to hold on to 4, 3, 2, 6 here. I think it's important he's given up 8, right? He's used his only capture in 8. So 4 makes a lot of sense. Could it be 2, 6, 2, 2? That's interesting, because they don't have 1, 4, 6, 3, and 1 there. This is another very plausible way I could have gone. Is this the move? Nice, this is the move, right? Because my point was either of this or this in 1 is now covered, and because he has no left, anything he puts in 2, my 1, 4, 6, 3 just takes it, and my 4, 3, 2, 6 is going to capture an extra thing on the bottom because this is the closest thing to safety, but I have the plus. So that's another very plausible way it could have gone, is with 3. It turns out there is 1 tie here for second turn, and I think it is a quite difficult move to find. Yeah, actually, having just had it tell me the move, this looks like a ridiculous move to make. So I think there is no chance that if I made this move in 7, that he held the game. I think there's a very high chance I made this move in 7. There's a bunch of lines he could have played, right? He could have played 4, he could have played 3. Maybe there's other things, though I think other things are probably easier to beat. Like something like this, it starts getting easier for me to play in 2 because I don't have to use this card. But, yeah, this does win here. Oh, and that even pluses, which I didn't notice. So, I'm not sure what the other candidate moves he might have played here are. Just hard to find something. Like, you're obviously not going in 9, I take it, you have no counterplay in 4. The reason I think 6, 4, 3, 2, and 4 was played is because I think you have to get 4 off the board. Because basically, as soon as I go and... Because 4 is a dead square for him, right? Not because I'm in a rush to play 4, though in this line I guess I do play 4, but just because 4 is going to be so bad for him whenever it lands. So I guess I will say what the tie is. I would really not come up with this. It's to use his only card with any left while making the game left facing. It does create a plus in 2, and that's useful and unique now that 6, 4, 3, 2 is out of my hand. But this is a very surprising move, right? If I play something like this, no, it loses. Okay, this wasn't the tie. Good, because that's an insane tie. All right. Tell me other things. There's 1 tie. Play the tie. No, it is that. What are you talking about? Why'd you say it wasn't a tie? Okay, it's lying to me. But after this, there is 1 tie, and it's here. Comboing with 6, 4, 3, 2, and 2 combos through 5 to reflip 8. And weirdly, there is coverage of my 3 and my 4 to the right. Alright, so what if I had held on to... it? There's 1 tie here as well. Yeah, this is absolutely insane to find, with the point that if I have to flip... No, not even that point. He's given up his combo in 2. But the point that he can just take safely back from 2. Alright, so basically to play this move in 1, you have to find these very difficult to see ties at distance and find all of them. There's no way 1 was played. I think I'm like 90% sure we reach this position, and then 50% sure that we hit this position, and 50% sure that we hit something like this position. But I suspect that is what happened. And I'm going to try to keep making videos trying to figure out what happened on these screenshots and see how many of these old games we can replay. For my official guess as to what happened, I guess I'm over 50% on this. I think here, and now everything loses, but I'm going to guess here, here. Is there a better guess? Maybe take the safety. Maybe this is a better guess. Because usually you don't go into the last turn lost. Like, the way human psychology works, like, we don't like to play a move where our last turn, like in this sequence, is, not that card, where our last move, there's also a chance, because we used to lose 9-1 a lot in the day. Actually, this is my official guess, is he found the way to lose 9-1. That seems like the way we tended to lose to each other. But, not sure. So, there's my attempt to recreate a long-lost game that we will never know for sure.